I started my day today at the Lucid press conference, as I told you all earlier, and it was packed. And this was the reason why. We had Andrea Soriani and his brand new car, SUV actually, vehicle. But I wanted.
Still a car.
It's still a car. It's still a vehicle. So I don't really know you. You're new back into my world. You were in automotive a while ago, but you left automotive. You do have 25 years of global marketing experience with deep expertise in marketing strategy, communications, digital and sales operations, client experiences, and business development. And you've got a luxury background. So you're with LVMH Group, Maserati, Ferrari. What on earth made you come back to automotive?
A little bit of craziness, probably. I think the automotive industry is the most complicated business you can work in. It's an expensive product in general. It costs a lot of money to build it, years of engineering, life cycle of 4 years. If you don't have the best product, you still have to sell it and market it for 4 years. You can do like a sample sale, friends and family. You are in the hook for the new, for the pre-owned, for parts, everything. So it's complicated. When I was in watches and jewelry, at the end you sell a watch, you sell a jewel, and then you just try to sell something else, but you don't have this kind of pressure. So I said, let's add some layers of complication. Let's go into EVs. So on top of everything I said, now you have sustainability, you have mining, you have efficiency, regulations, incentives, government. So let's say that we all like challenges, and I thought it was a good one.
How does automotive, well, you said a little bit of how it compares to the other luxury good market.
It's really more complicated because it's the magnitude, even let's say you go on cars that are not luxury, but still it's like a $30 check that you have to cut at the end of the day. In luxury, buy a handbag, it's like still $2,000 is luxury, $1,000 is luxury, but it's a completely different magnitude in terms of purchase, your budget, your family. And yes, both make a statement, especially if you look at luxury goods and luxury cars. There are the same motivations behind it, the same psychology. It's status, is design, it's ego, but just the money you have to put behind is completely different. So, and again, automotive, don't forget, is a heavily regulated industry. So in your marketing, you need to factor everything. Every time I did a campaign in my LVMH years, I never had to check with legal. Here, I'm not sending out a post on social media, even the most vanilla post. I have 3 layers of approvals by the legal team, and they're very tough. Sometimes they are the creative killer, I would say. No, don't get me wrong. Any lawyer here? No.
I think
all marketers.
Safe.
All marketers, thank you. So you get my point.
Yeah, lawyers make everything more complicated. I'm a lawyer. I actually have a law degree on top of being a journalist, but I won't.
More interesting. They force you to be even more creative because you need to find a way to get within, the road button.
So
find your way.
To take a step back from this morning, which was your new vehicle, in October, which wasn't that long ago, you introduced the new 77,400 entry-level Air Pure rear-wheel drive, which is described as a sporty and stylish EV offering an unsurpassed combination of range, driver-oriented performance, and design. So having just driven one myself, actually, a couple weeks ago, I was lucky enough to get a loan for a couple of days. Jeff, do you have something? Yeah, there I am. Okay, so I got to drive it up the PCH. I got the confidence monitor there. Yeah, it was wonderful. I didn't want to give it back. I will be completely honest. It was very painful to have to say goodbye to
for
that.
sale,
Not on a
we can help you with
salary.
That.
So how are you getting the word? I mean, you guys came out on the market with being very expensive, and now you're sort of coming down in price, becoming a little more approachable.
Yeah.
How are you getting the word out to people that you have a newer, more affordable Air for buyers to consider, and what makes this car special?
Because it's not a car, it's a Lucid. No, in all seriousness. you always, when you start a car company in the beginning, you always have to start with probably your most expensive offering. I can give you this example. To make a Rolls Royce, just to mention a brand we all know, and this historic brand, you need probably a small factory and a very skilled manpower. So the car is going to be very expensive, but you keep your capex fairly limited. To make a Volkswagen Rabbit or a Jetta, you need a highly automated factory, so your initial investment is huge. So if you are a startup, you need to keep your needs for cash fairly limited. So usually you start with a high product, and then you become more efficient, you start specializing, and the product comes down. So we still offer a very unique package of technology, performance. And when I say performance, it's an holistic concept. It's driving pleasure, it's the 0 to 60, it's the charging speed. I think we are on the very few offering in the EV world that gives you a really luxury, refined interior. So definitely your clientele changes a little bit, not too much, because early adopters are still a little bit more wealthy, more open-minded. To me, the rule is always find with your awareness and think about a targeted audience. Unless you are in insurance, you are comfort food, or I would say mobile phones, you don't need to talk to anybody. It's going to be like impossible today. So to me is finding who is my audience, who are my clients, and how I can reach out to them. And to me, it's also a matter of mixing all the tools of your marketing mix. We were talking a few minutes ago about, I launched the first print campaign for Lucid. You think print? It is the digital world. Absolutely. I came to the US, as my accent can tell you, I'm not from London. I come very south of London. Keep driving. When you're north of Italy, you find me. I moved to the US in 2002. And there was a Maserati at the time and Ferrari, and I had to relaunch Maserati. I didn't have a big budget. And I was telling, if you are on TV, you exist. So I found a way even to do a spot, because back in the day, TV was like, hey, you are on TV, you are here to stay. That was my, microphone. Today, this role is a little bit taken by print. Today's digital world. Everybody can start its own company and go selling online, go on Amazon. But how many companies we have seen coming and going, coming from maybe some countries that maybe you don't know where your product is coming from. You see knockoff, you see a little bit of everything. So today print is giving this kind of reassurance that you are here to stay. To make a print campaign, you need production, you need some creative, you need photo shooting, you need to buy media, and it is more expensive than digital. So again, in my case, we are a new company. I keep hearing, are you here to stay? How do you have new products? So today we confirm to the world that we are to stay, launching the Gravity, but also launching some very specific campaigns with some media that, let's say, they talk to a kind of older segment. And also, they reinforce the message that we are not just digital. Yes, we are a tech company. We are born digital, but we are here to play in each and every single field of communication and media.
So let's, Jeff, I think you've got something to roll from. We can talk about what was happening on the show floor this morning. You were introducing this beautiful piece of machinery.
Yep.
And this is going to run for a while, and we're just going to talk over it, and hopefully we'll be able to keep your attention, because it's quite beautiful, and you may just become mesmerized and not listen to us, which, that's fine. So let's talk about the Gravity. It's different. I was standing there surrounded by a lot of people, heard a lot of reactions from other people, a lot of surprises. Even people who knew Lucid were surprised. They thought it was really you know, the seats, there's 3 rows, but the 3rd row folds completely down into the car.
I'm 6'4", and I can comfortably sit in the 3rd row.
Right.
I mean, don't leave me there for hours, but I can sit there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really different compared to a lot of 3-row vehicles. So how is it going to fit into your portfolio? Who is the target customer compared to your target customer for the Air, and how are you going to get the word out other than print?
It's a natural evolution. You know, actually, we've heard a lot, well, we should have started from the SUV first because it's a much bigger market. Well, when Lucid started designing the car, wasn't exactly the case, so it made sense back in the day. You know, it's always easier to look in the rear view mirror and think, oh, if I could, should, you know. So it's the natural evolution. The SUV is by far the largest segment. The other good news is that we announced the price that is in line with Air. A lot of people were expecting a way more expensive product. What is different is you are expecting a broader segment. We start targeting younger crowd. Today, our clientele is skewed a little bit the 40 plus, which makes sense because sometimes with the age goes the wealth. It's not always the case, but sometimes there is a correlation. There is a correlation that is 3.5 from the price of the car and your household income, which is not a secret rule. In New York, for example, it's much higher. If you are in Scottsdale, it's lower, but you get the ratio. Gravity, we just starting thinking about the media plan and the creative campaign. We just started, you know, Lucid never had a creative agency. We've done everything in-house with our designing team, but now they are busy designing more products. So just these days, I'm pitching a few agencies for a global campaign because also you need a very consistent message. And you need, today we have Air, we need Gravity, we need to sell Air today because it's always easier to sell what you don't have. So focus on Air, but also thinking in the next 12, 24 months, what is going to be the message. I'm a believer of using the entire media mix. Today, we are mainly digital, but we started, you know, in the past, we were mainly performance marketing. Today, we are mainly digital. We are mixing performance and awareness marketing. As I said, we launched our first print campaign for 2 reasons. And the message is very simple. A lot of people think we are Chinese because we are new. And today, unless you are our friends on the other side of the bay, you are Chinese, because there are a lot of Chinese companies, so I needed to send this message. And you browse your magazine, you see, Ralph Lauren, Gucci, Lucid, oh my God, like, it's good. So we do addressable TV, linear TV, as I said, unless we sell a very generic product, it's kind of not efficient, let me put it this way. So again, balancing the entire media mix. We've done some out of home, but only in highly visible and recognizable position. I don't want to be side of the highway, but there is still some good opportunities. Now, to me, is really getting a very compelling and strong message. I think Lucid still have to find its tone of voice because, again, we are evolving quickly. I think now we are the perfect time, the perfect spot to better define our message, who we are, and go out to communicate the message. We have Air, the price is set. We have Gravity, everybody knows we have the price on Gravity. Now we can stop for a moment and work on creative.
Well, it was announced, so I'm going to go ahead and say it starts at $80,000, which surprised a lot of people. People around me were saying they thought it was going to be closer to 100, given what it has. And you saw it towing a boat. It really can, or an airplane.
Towing an airplane, yeah.
It really can tow an airplane. So
Don't do it at home.
Yeah.
There was a big disclaimer talking about the attorney. I'm still laughing. Yeah, there was like, there is like Gravity towing the supersonic jet. And disclaimer, please don't do it at home, close course, professional driver, don't fire the jet when you are in front of it, this kind of stuff. It's, sorry.
The lawyers really do take the fun out of everything, right?
Or they had fun, it depends on your sense of humor.
Yeah, if you can laugh at what they make you do. So besides launching the Gravity, today's a really big day because you also rolled out a new website, which is huge. So let's talk a little bit about it. Code and Theory, I
we work with Code and Theory. Reason why we choose them is that they are very good in the creative side, and if you are a Silicon Valley company, chances are that you have good coders. You need some help with creative. Our website was still pretty much the same frame, the same creative from when the company had no products and was a pure startup. And then you start having a product, you start having a range, you start having offers, lease pricing, and you add layers and layers and layers, and you kind of lose the storytelling. So we took Gravity. The Gravity launch is an opportunity to globally launch a website. Also, we went from one website in one language. Today we have like 9 country websites and I think 13 languages, and keep going. We took the opportunity for a complete refresh, for a complete new storytelling. We needed to simplify. I give you just one data. At a certain point, we had so many clickable buttons in the landing page and the hamburger menu here and there that users were going a complete, okay, what am I clicking now? 90% of the buttons, don't quote me, this is between us, had like 3% of the clicks. Like was totally useless. Just taking real estate, that is your landing page, not telling a story. At a certain point, I had a conversation with the team and we came to a conclusion that we were basically selling cars to people that already made a decision. It's like you don't know someone and you ask immediately out for, not even for a date, to get married. We need to go out for a date first. So let's get back to the storytelling. Let's get back to explaining who we are. Then we go on a date, the test drive, the appointment, and so on, and then eventually try to sell you a car. Don't jump the gun immediately. So this is what was the reasoning behind. So today is a complete creative redesign, and the step 2 is going to be a complete system integration, because with complexity you need to make sure that everything is fully integrated with your other management software and so on, from CRM to inventory and everything.
So that was kind of the strategy behind it. How are you leveraging the sense of luxury through the web redesign?
That's interesting, because a website is like an Instagram. You can have a filter you can fake. It's all about the storytelling. It's all about finding your word, finding your space, telling your true story. But today, we were just talking a few minutes ago, and I'll keep it simple. I was surprised to see how many people came to the show today. My last auto show was probably 2015, 16, and there was a sense of tiredness behind. So here I'm thinking it's Los Angeles, a lot of big names are not here. I knew that we were expecting like a very good crowd because we already exchanged messages and communication with media. But this morning I was blown away. I mean, I haven't seen so many people in many, many years. And I realized that back in the day, the auto show, for example, calendar was very busy. You have only a certain number of premiere. And that was the beginning of the digital world, the digital transformation. Today, first of all, I think there is a desire of getting back together again. And also there is a generation of content creators that, yes, they create digital content, but they need physical objects to create their content. Right. So it's an interesting situation. So yes, the website, back to your question, the website has to be the place where we drive all our our messages, where we make people dream and learn. 96% of luxury purchases start online. So it's still your business card, it's still your window on the world. And you need to make sure that also you deliver relevant content that is not too overwhelming, which is a risk. At a certain point, I'm not an engineer, you can imagine. At John Lucid, I started going to the website, I'm scratching my head. I said, okay, that's a little bit too complicated probably for me. Or maybe you end up selling statistics and not emotions. And it's true in luxury. In the luxury world, you need to be aspirational, you need to sell emotions. You don't sell a product. You need to build a bond with your client. And when products become emotions, you are into luxury. And to me, that's the only decent definition of luxury that I had. Because, what is luxury? It depends on your pocket. Is the cost of a product, or is how the product makes you feel?
Well, I was going to say that I know your brand ethos of heart and mind runs pretty deep. And how are you injecting those principles through the new website into everything you do? And what do you want customers to feel when they come to your new website?
I want them to feel engaged. And, we have a unique proposition. We are a tech company, because we are a tech company. We are not a car company. From Silicon Valley, with all the package that comes with the name Silicon Valley, but we are also from California. With all the package that comes from California, and for a moment, think also that we are a global company. I mean, not yet, but we are expanding in many markets. We are in Europe, we are in Middle East. In Europe, if you say California, immediately they think surfing, the lifestyle, Hollywood, yes, a little bit of tech and Silicon Valley. So there is still a big appeal behind it. So to me, it's really putting together the tech side of Lucid with the design and the luxury side. So imagine if you can come to a conclusion, think what I just said before, where emotions are also sustained by rationals. It's like you find your perfect partner, is the perfect husband or wife. Think about it. So this is where we're trying to go. So first step, re-engage. We already have a phenomenal product. My goal is to make it more engaging, more friendly, and really to go back to what I said before. I want you to, and you drove it, because when you drive it, you get it.
Yeah, I was telling people this morning, you just have to get behind the wheel and experience it to really understand it.
It's really what is going to be my pitch, what is going to be my declaration of love to get you behind the wheel and experience firsthand. Because also, a luxury product is never a single dimension. It's a multi-sensory experience. Because you start with the eyes, you start looking, and then usually all good products, when you go to a luxury store and you buy a nice jacket, what is the first thing you do? You touch. I remember my days at Ferrari, all my clients, the first thing they were doing, touching the headrest. Always, first thing, even saying, che bella. No, they had to touch the rest and feel it. Third, usually, all good things, they have a good smell.
I was just going to say smell is next,
Is the leather, is the wool, is the wood. And even in the old school, automotive was the sound of the engine, but even the sound of silence. Not to quote Simon and Garfunkel, but it's very important. It can be the audio system, can be the isolation from the road when you drive.
Sanctuary.
Then, as I keep saying, I wouldn't suggest licking your Lucid to feel the taste, but I like to say that if you get a Lucid, it means that you have a good taste. How's that? Sorry.
That's good. That's really good. So what's next for you? Do you have any plans for the New York Auto Show? How about the Super Bowl? Oh boy, that's a look. Did I serve?
No, no. Let's start from New York. Really don't know. We need to see what's going on. Before New York, there is Geneva. So we are kind of evaluating different opportunities market. Super Bowl, I have nothing against with Super Bowl. I've done a Super Bowl commercial in 2013. It's a phenomenal experience because you realize that you are on the big stage, so you must find a great spot. It's horrifically expensive, and the problem is that it's not the Super Bowl is just the beginning. So you either have the money to put legs to your campaign, and serious money, otherwise you are just wasting your time. Because a single 60 seconds at the Super Bowl is gonna last like a fire with the newspaper, it's like those 30, 90 seconds, but then everybody will forget. So you will need the big splash over there. That's the, aha moment. But then you need to build over and over and over and over and over. So my experience, that was great. I think we went with the creative that was too intellectual, too cerebral, wasn't really understood. And I ran out of money the day after. So I couldn't put much legs. Let's say that when I did the Super Bowl commercial, the goal was not really, of course you have to sell, but we had completely different goals back in the day, and I can take it offline, but there was a reason why I was there with, I was with Maserati when I did the Maserati commercial. It was more of a political message for our dealers, for investors, for the union, especially unions in Italy, because it was the time when Fiat and Chrysler were merging. A lot of people in Europe were saying, oh, you're moving all the operations. So, long story, but sorry. Super Bowl, I have great memories. I have a T-shirt. I survived the Super Bowl, but do it only if you can afford it. That's my message. Not the Super Bowl, but everything after.
It was a beautiful spot. I do remember that spot, and it was lovely. Speaking of which, do we have time to run the, we've got a brand video that I think is be a nice way to close it out before we open it up to questions. Sound? Range really is your point of distinction, right?
This video was done really to humanize the brand. In the beginning, again, don't forget that 80% of my colleagues are engineers. There was a big push on the tech side. And this video was really, okay, let's humanize the brand. Let's play a little bit, with the range, but range doesn't have to be the main focus of the storytelling. Is the family, is the cargo capacity, is enjoying time with the people you like, do what you love, and then of course, because you don't have to worry about charging. And there is also a double meaning of charging. You are charged, you are, stressed out and so on, and you don't need to charge, less need to charge. So a little finesse that nobody understood, but it's okay. The message of the family and take time for what really matters. That was the message, and even, that was Wyoming, the beautiful scenery. It gives also a message of green, of sustainability that for us is really, really important. Because, remember, not all, as my president said today, not all EVs are built equal. You need to look at efficiency and, how far you can go with the same battery, because that's the difference.
Great. Lisa, are you out there?
Yes.
Yeah, there she is.
Any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
There's a question.
Oh.
Hi, Kristen Young from Nativo. I really liked what you said about describing your marketing, how previously you were basically asking the consumer to marry you without getting to know them. And then you went on to talk about how you have big awareness plays while also doing performance plays. So I'm curious to learn, how are you filling the gap of the mid-funnel? How are you currently dating your consumers right now, and what are you doing in the space to do that?
This role, so there are two things. First, you need to pick your battle, because, again, in the beginning it was all performance, was all, try to convert a database we already had, which is normal when you have a new product with a long waiting list in the beginning. But also you realize that when people wait for too long, they tend to disappear, or they already move on with something else, because we have needs to fill and so on. So still performance is very important, but also you realize that awareness is a crucial thing. Awareness makes your marketing money work much, much harder and better. The problem with awareness is that costs a fortune. Build awareness, even targeted awareness. I made a substantiated estimate that is going to cost you around 8 million a quarter for a point of awareness if you want to grow quickly. Then, if you spend 8 million in 1 year, you'll grow a quarter of a point. The other thing that doesn't work in your favor is that to build awareness, you'll be very, very, very consistent. You can't just flip the switch on and off. So my plan right now is to have a baseline of consistent awareness building and still keep pushing on performance and trying to convert the mid-lower funnel. Not a secret, I can tell you, I'm like 60-40 today. I would like to do more awareness, but the competition is fierce. This segment is growing, but not at the pace that it was growing in the past. Some competitors decided to drop prices significantly. It's a very competitive market, so you need always to balance. The best part of performance marketing today is that being mainly digital, you can really plan, execute, measure, and adjust pretty much in real time. So it's losing a little bit of the romance or the poetry, but if you can be very efficient, let me put it this way.
Anyone else?
Hey, Wikas from Pathmatics. What's the biggest learning curve or difference in working for established luxury brands like Maserati and TAG Heuer and a new luxury brand where you lack brand recognition, customer loyalty?
Each brand has its own challenges. I can give you some very simple example. At a certain point, I was handling Ferrari and Maserati brands. And Ferrari was all about CRM, but one-on-one, making people feel special without getting people on the waiting list upset. Because, you know, when you are in the luxury business, yes, it's not true that all clients are the same, because you have clients that bought like 10 of your products or the most expensive, and the guy that bought the entry level pretends to be treated the same way, which it should be in the ideal world, but especially when you have limited products and production, is not the case. With Maserati, it was like the opposite, was really launching the brand and making everybody aware, which is very similar to the challenge I have at Lucid. I would call it the opportunity. To give an example, back in Maserati, I had good brand awareness, very low product familiarity, bad product reputation. Here, okay, you have low brand awareness, but at least I have a very good brand reputation if you know me. And I would say it's like easier job than changing people's opinion. Tag Heuer, everybody knew the brand. We were the second most recognized brand, but at a certain point, we needed to re-engage with a younger population that was leaning toward the digital products, or products that, you know, that was the time where, you know, you want to buy something and flip it the day after. So there was kind of shifting. So each luxury brand has its own challenges, even established brands. You know, if you work for an established luxury brand, how do you evolve, keeping your DNA? How do you evolve, appealing to new population, but still being true to yourself? Like 10 years ago with the digital revolution, you know, luxury actually had to move from, you know, from family business with the appointment of the royal family of luxury was something that, you know, you pass the baton to completely different shift. You know, I remember there was a cover of Times with 16 billionaires, all under 25. There was a young Zuckerberg, there was a bunch of young new e-commerce guy, and this guy, they were all wearing hoodie, sweatshirt. So if you are an established luxury brand, how you can be relevant to that group of people that are very wealthy, but may not be interested to old school design or old school demonstration or show or ostentation of luxury. So it's really important to understand the challenge of the brand, focus, cut the elephant in small bites and chew it one at a time, because also the problem with new brands is when you try to achieve everything, you want to do everything at the same time. And this is the challenge you have even with your peer, with the other executives, explaining that first, as I said before, marketing is not a switch, and to build a brand, unfortunately, takes time. It's much easier to build a brand in the bad way, because something bad happened around your brand, and you get popularity, but for the wrong way. It's very hard to build popularity on the good way.
All right.
Any other questions out there? I think, oh, wait, one last question.
Hello, my name is Bernadette from Pathmatics, like what costs. I've been asking a lot of questions today. So basically, it's like off of what I'm hearing from what you're saying. The challenge with Lucid seems to be building brand awareness. And you mentioned that that's a top priority for you, but that it's very, you know, pricey to do so. How are you approaching building brand awareness for Lucid in a way which is more cost effective?
Highly targeted marketing, know your clients, get intelligence behind. The good news is that data is available. I know exactly my brand awareness by market, by DMA, by region, and by age. Because I'm completely honest, to build today with my product offering and where I am, I don't care if I have 60% brand awareness in South Dakota. Nothing against South Dakota. Legal disclaimer, I love South Dakota. But it happens that not my many of my clients are there. And probably 50% in Beverly Hills is a problem for me right now. So right now, I'm putting a lot of data behind, trying to find where my clients are today, where my clients in 6, 12, 24 months will be, and what is the best way to reach them. And also know how old they are, because we are all heavy with digital, but don't forget, luxury, you have a lot of, I hate to say boomers, let's say people 45 plus. And they may not be aware if you just are on digital. So that's really important. You cross-reference geographical awareness and age, demographic. And the other good news is that today you can add all the layers in terms of income, wealth, and so on you want. You can work with lookalike models, and you can do absolutely successful, phenomenal geo-targeted campaigns. Best results I've seen, really, geofence, geo-targeted, they really deliver results, because you know you can exactly hit the pocket or a specific cluster of population in a specific area, and you start building from there, and you just go after similar cluster, and it's becoming highly scientific process.
Well, congratulations on a great start to the auto show day today. I think you brought the energy back. And I'm going to invite all of you to use your badges to go out on the show floor now and see what's out there, including the new Gravity. That should be your very first stop. It's right in the West Hall. It's right out there.